Fight Fiend Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host of the Fight Fiend Forecast, and I'm back for my UFC Vegas 81 full card predictions and betting breakdown. And once again, I'm just doing one show this week. I don't feel like there's a need to do two shows. I know you guys love the post-weigh-in face-off show. We get to see all the fighters face off, and we have our final predictions on there, but Patreon members will have early access to my final picks, all my bets. So for $5 a month, just join Patreon. I really appreciate the support. And like $5, that's pretty cheap. That's like a chocolate bar, maybe a can of soda. So please support our Patreon and the Fight Fiend Forecast. And last night we hit some big bets on the NHL. We had the Vegas Golden Knights to win money line with Jack Eichel 3 shots. We also had Jack Eichel for a goal. We had Marchessault for a goal. Stephenson for a goal. And then we had another one with Ivan Barbashev for a goal, but then we needed Marchessault for an assist, but he only got the goal, so we pretty well swept our NHL bets. And once again, this week's fight night is in Las Vegas at the Apex, so hopefully we can keep the luck going in Las Vegas. I'm feeling pretty good this week about some of my picks, but a lot of them pretty low confidence, like a lot of red, low confidence picks for me, for the Patreon members. Not very many green. I think only one is a high confidence pick for me. So a lot of 50-50 medium confidence picks. You know, this is a sketchy fight night, and I'm not looking to go heavy on bets. And one thing that I have forgot to do on previous shows is have a Pink Whitney shot. So I'm going to bust out the Pink Whitney, and we're going to have a shot here before we get going. The Liquid Courage has always done us good. Last night on the Contender Series, though, 50%. But I had a round 2 KO bet on Lucas Rocha, so that was a snipe. That was like 17-1 odds. Woo! Oh yeah. Yeah. Love me some Pink Whitney for some predictions here. Gotta love it. And last night on the Contenders, like I said, went 50%. I did a prediction show on that, and I busted out the Pink Whitney in the middle of the show, though, so Isakov, he dropped the bag for us. And for that show, my buddy Dreadstocks joined me. He was in the background, but he didn't have much to say. And he's here again, and he doesn't have much to say, because I said, this is a sketchy card, and we're not looking to bet on this one, and we're going to run through these picks pretty quick. So smash that like button, suplex the subscribe button. We're going to get right into it. First fight of the night. I'm going 2 underdogs, because I'm taking a lot of underdogs. I see a lot of underdogs coming through. And the first fight of the night, we got Ashley Yoder versus Emily Ducote. And Yoder is a 360 underdog right now. I know she's 8-8, and she's been away for 2 years. Might have a little bit of ring rust, but she is training with Angela Hill and JJ Aldrich. Angela Hill has a win over both these girls, and Angela Hill actually beat Ashley Yoder twice. So now that she's training with Angela Hill, I think that's great, because Angela Hill had a good win over Emily Ducote. And Emily Ducote's last win was against Jessica Pena, 14-5. She was high output with the leg kicks, but I don't think she's going to be as high level with the striking here against Ashley Yoder, who has a lot of experience inside the UFC. She is 3-7, but she has a split decision to Randa Marcos and Mackenzie Dern. So that split decision to Mackenzie Dern is aging pretty well. Her nickname's the Spider Monkey, and that might make me a little bit biased towards her. I love my women's underdogs, and last week I took Vanessa Demopoulos, and a lot of people probably thought that was a robbery, but all 3 judges headed for Demopoulos, so I'm not going to argue with it, because I did have her for my pick, and I had a single bet on her for a decision, and that was plus 600, so I'm pretty happy to get paid there. Hopefully I get paid once again with Ashley Yoder. I think this one's going the distance, and she's going to squeeze it out. It's going to be greasy. You guys aren't going to like it, but I'm going to make her one of my underdogs of the week. I think she's going to get this done. Like, these women's underdogs have been cashing in. And, yeah, I think this girl definitely has a chance. She has 4 submissions, but they're all by armbar. I don't think she's going to pull that armbar off here against Emily Ducote. Ducote is tough. She has 7 decision losses as well. Lupita Godinez, Angela Hill, like I mentioned. But she has no takedowns in those fights, and she's going for takedowns. She went 0 for 2 and 0 for 4. She's going to be a high-volume striker, have a high pace, but other than that, I think she's going to lose this fight. She could probably get taken down, too. She does have a 90% takedown defense. It's holding up, but Ashley Yoder has a huge reach advantage. She has a lot of experience, And I just see her squeezing this one out. And next fight on the card, we got Chris Gutierrez and Alatengheili. And I'm not very excited about this fight because Chris Gutierrez last time, I had him as lock of the week against Pedro Munoz. And he did not look very good, especially when Pedro started testing him with those leg kicks and feeding him his own medicine, because Chris Gutierrez usually is a sniper and his leg kicks are heavy. And Alatengheili, you know, he's not doing too great inside the UFC. He is training at Fight Ready with Henry Cejudo and Aurori Kulang, so maybe he can pull this one off. And both those guys are 135, so that is an interesting matchup, Aurori Kulang and Alatengheili. But Chris Gutierrez should be the play here for sure. I think he's getting back in the win column. He had a nice knockout over Dana Batgrill and Frankie Edgar. He has 9 knockouts, 9 decisions, but in this one I think he's just going to get it done by a decision. He's going to be the much taller fighter. He's going to be a sniper on the feet too. I think he's going to be the much better striker. Alatengheili won't be able to get this fight to the ground. Gutierrez has a good takedown defense. He's high IQ. And with the 1 submission loss to Raoni Barcelos and 4 decision losses, there's not much options for Alatengheili here other than greasing out a decision. And I don't really see it happening. And next fight of the night, we're going with another underdog here. Irina Alekseeva against Melissa Dixon. She's 220 Irina Alekseeva, and she's going to be my second underdog of the week. Russian Ronda, I feel like she's the real deal. She submitted Stephanie Edgar in the very first round. She has 2 submission wins and 1 knockout, but her competition level isn't the highest, and Melissa Dixon is coming off a knockout against a girl that's 7-0 in the first round. All of her wins are in round 1. She has 3 knockouts and 2 decisions, but her decisions are against 6-4 and 3-1 opponents. And Irina Alekseeva, I feel like she's going to be pretty hungry in this fight. I was looking at her Instagram. Her hands look sharp, and she's ready to go here. Plus money. I like another girl's underdog here. She's a world Sambo champion. She's super aggressive. And she won her UFC debut. Impressive fashion against Stephanie Edgar. Like I said, round 1, that knee bar was nasty. And now that she's settling in here, I think she's going to look very good against Melissa Dixon in her debut. She's going to look to end this fight by knockout in the very first round, but after that, I believe she might gas out, and Irina Alekseeva is going to get this fight to the ground, control her, and probably find a finish, honestly. I like the plus money. Irina Alekseeva. I'm going 2 underdogs this week. Irina Alekseeva and Ashley Yoder. We'll see how it goes. And next fight on the card, we got Terrance McKinney and Brendon Marotte. And Marotte's coming in here short notice. And I don't like it at all, man. He's fighting very low-level competition. 3-1, took him to round 2, knocked him out. He has 2 decision wins, a split decision to an 8-4 guy in 2020. And now he's fighting Terrance McKinney. McKinney has 13 out of 14 wins in round 1, knocked out Matt Frivola, Mike Breed in 10-5. You know, that's not great, his last win, but he still knocked him out round 1, looked phenomenal. He has 8 submissions as well. But I feel like he's going to knock this guy out round 1, just like he did in his last fight. His striking is sharp. Like, this is an easy pick for me. This is my high confidence pick. Terrance McKinney, round 1, KO. He does have 4 knockout losses. Drew Dober, Ismail Bonfim, Sean Woodson, pretty high level strikers. This guy coming in here, short notice, debut, training at the New England Cartel. I don't like it whatsoever, and he's probably not going to get the job done against T-Rex. And next up, we got a huge favorite in the women's bantamweight division, Tainara Lisboa and Ravena Oliveira. And this is a fight where people in the Discord were talking like we need to stay away from this one because Lisboa is such a big favorite, and last week Montella De La Rosa dropped the bag. But I feel like the one you need to stay away from is Emily Ducote. So that's why I'm going Ashley Yoder. Lisboa should be a big favorite. She should be a 4-1 favorite. She has a 100% finish rate, 4 first-round finishes. She's 1-0 in the UFC, and that rear naked choke against Jessica Rose Clark. You know, that's not too bad. Rose Clark got cut. She's 11-8, but she had 1 for 2 takedowns in that fight, 2 minutes control, and she sunk in that rear naked choke, and she looked damn good. And she looked good on the feet before the rear naked choke, so I think on the feet she's going to look very good. Oliveira, she has 6 knockouts, 4 in the first round, but 8-5, 0-1, 0-0, 0-0. Submission against an 0-0 in round 3. She's not winning this. No way. Not even by a decision she's winning this. She's never been to a decision. So she's not dropping the bag. Lisboa, as a favorite, is not dropping the bag. And if she does, I am so sorry. Unsubscribe. And next up, we got a banger fight between Darren Elkins and TJ Brown in the featherweight division. And Darren Elkins is all damage, and he's an underdog here. And I'm taking another stab at an underdog. Wow, I'm actually taking an underdog because usually I'm just saucing all favorites. And I wasn't picking all favorites just to make my record good or anything like that. Like, I wasn't even doing very good when I was picking all favorites. A lot of underdogs were cashing in. I honestly thought it was going to be all favorites winning in the past, previously when I was taking all favorites. But this card, I feel like it is full of underdogs, and they are going to be barking. And I think I'm taking like 5 or 6 underdogs, maybe even more. I'm taking Darren Elkins here, obviously. Like, he has so much experience. 7-10 in the UFC. TJ Brown is 17-10 alone. Yeah, he's a black belt in BJJ, but he has 4 submission losses. Bill Algeo, round 2 in 2023. In 2020, he lost to a guy that was 18-7 in round 2. Round 1, he got submitted to Trey Ogden. Like, this guy can get submitted. And Elkins has 5 submission wins. Submitted Michael Johnson in round 2 by rear naked choke. And he submitted a 13-1 guy in 2020, Garagori, round 3. He's cut now, but not a bad win by a submission. He also has 9 knockouts too, though. Bektic, 11-0 at the time. Knocked him out in round 3. Gave him his first loss. So, I think he's going to find the finish here. You might think I'm crazy. He's an underdog. And he's, 38, 39 years old. He has 4 knockout losses as well. But against Jonathan Pierce, man, he showed his durability and he was not getting finished there. Maybe he gets snatched up in a submission here. TJ Brown is a black belt, so bet TJ Brown submission, or probably just stick on the TJ Brown train. But I'm going to take the stab on another underdog here, Darren the Damage Elkins. I believe he's going to get a finish here, and yeah, he is definitely a dog. Not sure if I'm going to get to a bet on this one yet, because Elkins is pretty old. He wears a lot of damage, but for the pick, I'm going to go with the underdog, Darren the Damage Elkins. I believe he's going to get the finish. And before we get into the main card, if you haven't yet, smash that like button and suplex the subscribe button. I'll have another shot because we got 5 more fights to break down, maybe 6. And we got to make some money because this card is sketch. I'm taking a bunch of underdogs, low confidence picks too. 2 of them are underdogs of the week though. Ashley Yoder, Irina, Alekseeva. I'm probably going to get to a bet on those 2. Jeez. I'm pretty high confidence on Irina, Russian Ronda, Alekseeva. And I got the Russian vodka to go with it. Let's go! And now to start off the main card. Let's get our hands dirty. Dirty hands, clean money. Let's go. Christian Rodriguez versus Cameron Simone. Simone's undefeated. And I know I wasn't high on Cameron Simone in the past. And Christian Rodriguez just beat Rosas Jr. by a decision. But listen, Rosas Jr. gassed out, and I believe he's a little bit overpriced here. And I believe a lot of people are going to take Christian Rodriguez. They're going to be pretty hyped on him after that win. But 9-0 Cameron Simone, don't sleep on this guy, man. He's training with Dricus Duplessis. These South Africans, I think they're the real deal. Honestly, I want to fade them. I don't think their gas tank's good, but their gas tank is good. Like, low-key, their gas tank kind of is good. Their cardio is very good. They're accurate and powerful. They throw a lot, too. 5 strikes a minute, 50% accuracy, 60% defense. He can take this fight to the ground. Rodriguez can get taken down here. You got to think about that. He was taken down 13 times inside the UFC. This is a spot where Cameron Simone, I believe he can find a submission. He can get the fight to the ground, and he can win as an underdog. So I'm pretty high on Cameron Simone. I'm not making him an underdog of the week. But listen, Cameron Simone, he was probably going to be my underdog of the week, and he's a very good bet, and he's a medium confidence pick for me. He was going to be high confidence, but Christian Rodriguez, he is a dog, just came off a good win. Rosas Jr. has a 4-inch reach advantage as well. He has a good cardio as well. He's composed, but I think he's going to lose this one either by a decision, or he's probably going to get caught in a submission here, I believe. And next up, we got a fight that got rescheduled. Edgar Chairez and Daniel Lacerda. And the first time around, Chairez had him in a pretty deep guillotine. His arm went limp. You know, hard to say if that was an early stoppage. I know a lot of people thought that Chairez probably had him out of there. Dreadstocks in the back here thinks Chairez had him out of there. That was a clean win for him. He's probably going to do it again. And he's probably going to think I'm an idiot for trying to take Daniel Lacerda once again by finish. He's a pretty big underdog once again. Low confidence pick for me once again. And I can see myself going 50% on predictions this week. It is what it is, but like I feel like these underdogs are going to cash. Lacerda has power on the feet. He lost his last 4 fights. He needs a win here. His back is against the wall. He needs a win here. And I think if he didn't get caught in that guillotine, he was going to win that fight because he took Chairez down. He did take Chairez down, and his striking looked good. But I could look like a complete dumbass here with Chairez and just finish him again. So I don't blame you. He's taking Chairez 7 out of 10 round 1 finishes, 100% finish rate. He's definitely going to finish Daniel Lacerda if Lacerda doesn't knock him out in the first round or early second because his gas tank isn't good. But those Diego Lima boys could be working on the gas tank. He's a 100% finish rate fighter as well, but he lost his last 4 fights. This is definitely a low confidence underdog stab for me once again. And next up, we got Michel Pereira and Andre Petroski. Petroski's coming in here short notice. It was supposed to be Marc-Andre Barrios fighting Pereira. Now Petroski's coming in here short notice. And he just friggin' beat Jared Mershit by a split decision. His striking looked terrible. He gassed out. And I had him as a friggin' top ticket bet. Like a pretty sure lock of the week play. And he looked like shit. Barely got it done. No way I'm getting caught betting him here against Michel Pereira, who has to move up to 185 because he couldn't make weight at 170. I think he's going to have a lot of cardio here. And he was very unorthodox at 170. Very awkward to fight. He was on a 5-fight win streak. A lot of them were by a decision, but he's just winning these decisions quite easily. I don't know if he's going to find the finish here. Pretty confident he's going to win, though. He has 10 knockouts, 7 submissions, 11 decisions. All around, he is a great fighter. Petroski, I'm just a little bit worried, man. 4 knockouts, 4 submissions, and his submission was in 2020 against Nick Maximov, round 1. Aging, honestly not great. 4-8 in round 1. He hasn't really finished anybody that impressive, man. He beat Wellington Turman by a decision and Mershit by a decision. And then he lost to Brian Battle in the Ultimate Fighter by a submission. So just based off that last fight, the split decision win against Jared Mershit, I'm pretty confident that Michel Pereira is going to dominate this fight. Probably on short notice. I don't like Petroski. Stay away from him if you do like him, because he's definitely not a guy I want my money on anytime soon. And next up, we got a pick that I'm kind of bouncing back and forth on now. Jonathan Martinez and Adrian Yanez. What great matchmaking this one is. I'm not quite sure what to do. Originally, I was on Martinez. Then I thought maybe Yanez has a chance, but I'm going to go with my gut pick. I think Jonathan Martinez is going to win this one quite cleanly. Adrian Yanez hasn't fought the best level of competition, and when he has, got knocked out cold to Rob Font, and me and Loafer cashed a big knockout ticket on Rob Font that night. He was like plus 700 for the KO, I believe. So I think I'm going to fade Yanez once again here. Jonathan Martinez, you know, he stole some money against us when he beat Said Nurmagomedov, and I think Said Nurmagomedov won that fight. I think that was a goddamn robbery. I'm going to say it. I think that was a robbery. I think Said Nurmagomedov, yeah, he might have looked bad during points of that fight, but looking at the stats, I think Said might have won that one. So that was greasy, real greasy. But Martinez, he's a slick striker. He's technical. His last 4 wins come by a decision. He has heavy kicks, and he even knocked out Cub Swanson. So I think he's going to be the better striker than Yanez, honestly. Yanez has power, but, man, like Tony Kelly, Randy Costa, these guys aren't great. They're not great, man. And now you're going to fight a decent guy that's trained at Factory X that's 9-3 in the UFC. I'm really feeling Jonathan Martinez by a decision. I don't know if you guys like it or not, but that's what I'm going to do here. Yanez could find the KO shot. Davey Grant ran 2 KO against Jonathan Martinez. Doesn't age well, in my opinion. He is maybe hittable. Probably could get knocked out here against Yanez, who has a lot of power, but I'm going to stick with Martinez. I believe he's going to get this one done. And another thing to note about this one, too, Yanez has a 40% strike accuracy. I don't love that. And 100% takedown defense, I think that's a little bit padded. Don't be surprised if Martinez ruins that 100% takedown defense. And next up, I think we got a pretty obvious pick for most people. Jennifer Maia versus Viviane Araújo. Jennifer Maia's the pick. She's experienced. She's a gatekeeper. She's trained at Shootbox. 7 decision losses. Valentina Shevchenko, Caitlin Chookagian, Menin Farrow. Freaking high level. She is lacking a 4-inch reach advantage, which is kind of scary. Viviane has 4 decision losses as well. This one's likely going the distance. But Viviane's wins by a decision only come to Andrea Lee and Montella de la Rosa. So Jennifer Maia's the pick. Just based on who she's fought, who she's beat, coming off a win against a 9-0 opponent, Casey O'Neill. She also beat a girl that's on the rise, Mayra Moreau's 11-3, so she's not too bad. Jennifer Maia has 5 submission wins. She has an armbar in round 1 in 2020 against Joanne Wood, but most likely she's not going to submit Viviane Araujo, who lost the decision to Amanda Ribas, Alexa Grasso, and Caitlin Chookagian. And another fighter that she lost a decision to was Jessica Ai. And Jennifer Maia beat her by unanimous decision. So, enough said. Jennifer Maia's a pick. And next up, we got the main event. Sodiq Yusuff and Edson Barboza. And I'm stoked about this main event. And low-key, this is a good fight. You got one guy who's on the rise and one guy that people think he might be on the decline because he's obviously an underdog here, Edson Barboza. But realistically, this guy has a ton of experience. He has a decision loss to Khabib. He has a decision loss to Khabib. And people think Sodiq Yusuff's going to knock him out or submit him. He just submitted Don Shainis. Like, come on, man. Come on. Knocked out 23-10. Benitez beat Alex Caceres, who's 21-14 by a decision. And beat Andre Fili, who's 22-10 by a decision. Yeah, Edson Barboza fits into that category because he's 23-11, but he fought Khabib. Paul Felder lost the decision to Felder, lost the decision to Bryce Mitchell and Dan Iggy. Those aren't bad friggin' losses whatsoever. He has a submission loss to Tony Ferguson back in the day, the Ultimate Fighter finale. I don't think that's a bad loss. His 2 knockout losses in the UFC come to Giga in round 3 and Justin Gaethje in round 1. So, I mean, all good losses. In this fight, he has a 4-inch reach advantage. He has the experience. He's training at American Top Team. He's 17-11 in the UFC. Sodiq Yusuff's only 13-2 alone. So I think this screams underdog. Last week, we just seen Bobby Green cash as a plus 300. That's insane. And I just remembered, I forgot to do last week's recap. So I'm completely sorry about that. I forgot to recap last week. But I don't think we have to because last week was a mess. It was a mess. Absolute mess. I think I went 50%. This week could be a mess too, but I'm going to take a lot of underdogs here. I think Barboza is going to have a lot of power, a lot of IQ. I think he's going to knock out Sodiq Yusuff. He has 14 KOs. He caught Billy Q with that knee in round 1. He also knocked out Shane Burgos round 3, Dan Hooker round 3, Beneil Dariush round 2. That's a treat, everyone. Take Edson Barboza as an underdog by knockout against a guy that does not have the level of experience as Edson Barboza. Or, I don't even think he has the power, man. Like, maybe he gets this huge win against Edson Barboza as a favorite, but I think anybody taking Sodiq Yusuff is going to be sorry. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's go with the OG Edson Barboza in the main event. Another underdog's going to come through. And why not? So many underdogs have been cashing in on the main event. Let's take an underdog this week with Edson Barboza. We just did a bunch of quick picks. I gave you a bunch of underdogs, a bunch of plus money. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So let's talk about the locks and dogs one more time. Lock of the week. Let's do it. Edson Barboza plus 130. Most confident pick for me is now going to be Edson Barboza over Terrance McKinney. So I'm going to switch that to high confidence. I just gave that to everybody. I'm switching Edson Barboza to high confidence. Let's go. Lock of the week, Edson Barboza. Likely gets it done by KO as well. Dogs of the week, be careful with these. Be careful. Maybe I need another Russian shot for Irina Alekseeva plus 120 and Ashley Yoder plus 260. Some of you guys in the comments might beef me about these. Cheers, Dreadstocks. I see you in the back there. You might disagree with one of them or 2 of them. But listen, you all disagreed with Vanessa Demopoulos. And y'all thought that was a robbery, but she won by unanimous. All 3 judges scored it for her. I think we might get another greasy win here. Cheers, everyone. I hope everybody has a great week on bets. Check out my Patreon. It's only $5 a month. I just posted some hockey bets. NHL, it's day 2. I'll let you in on a little treat. I'm super high on the Boston Bruins, Carolina Hurricanes. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you. No, those aren't my picks. Join Patreon, $5 a month, exclusive early access to all my bets. Last night, Vegas Golden Knights moneyline cash for us. Jack Eichel 3 shots. Jack Eichel goal. Marcia Show goal. Stephenson goal. This is what I do, man. I've been playing hockey since I could walk competitively, and I've been following it since I could walk. My dad was big into hockey. I'm huge into hockey, and I crush NHL bets. And soon I'm going to open up a Patreon tier for $15 a month maybe for NHL, NFL, MLB, NBA. A little bit of NBA. I don't do much of that shit. Mostly NHL, though. I crush NHL. $15 a month with a bit of NFL. Also some PFL, Cage Warriors, stuff like that. I'll put everything for the $15 a month. Those guys are going to get absolutely everything. I'm aiming for the new year for that, though. Maybe even sooner. But for $5 a month, Patreon, they're going to get access to my NHL bets right now. My NFL bets. My Cage Warriors. My PFL. And 2 people just left Patreon. So I want to shout that out. They probably feel sorry right now because the NHL bets last night absolutely crushed. We swept them. We're up 20-some units and 2 people left. So they're probably going to rejoin now for only $5 a month. And you got to look at how much I'm putting on these bets, because some bets, I'm not putting much on them. I'm not confident in them. And then some bets, I'm going heavy and we're crushing them. So keep an eye on those. Patreon, $5 a month. Exclusive early access to all of our bets. There's also cheat sheets, forecast forensic platinum picks. And all the platinum forecasters that are still on Patreon are super happy because even through the bad times, they know a lot of good times are coming. And we have crushed some bets. And last night, we just crushed a bunch of bets. And they're super happy. So thank you, everybody, for joining Patreon. Thank you, everyone, for joining Discord. Thanks, everyone, for smashing the like button, suplexing the subscribe button. I don't know why I'm so excited for this fight night because I'm low confidence on a bunch of them. But we're going to have a couple single bets. Hopefully hit a couple underdogs. And I think Edson Barboza KO. I think we're going to look damn smart. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. You never know. Cheers.